The idea about outcome-based youth ministry is Laurie and I went through a wonderful training, and we went through a training back in the 80s with a man who just was a master trainer, an old Dale Carnegie guy who actually created a lot of the stuff that Dale Carnegie used. Anyway, he did our youth ministry training, the management part of it, and it was just really, really good information. And so when we got here, that training has been an element of every part of our lives. I still use so much of that training every week, and so we said this is just too good for us to keep. So we figured out a way to pass some of this training on to young people, and with his blessing, after about 15 or 20 years of doing this, I went back and said, Claude, this is what I'm doing with your stuff, because he was pretty, and I told him what I was doing, and he said, oh, you've earned the right to do whatever you want with this stuff. You have my blessing. And I was like, I was kind of sweating out that meeting. But anyway, so one of the things we got into this outcome-based youth ministry, we thought, my wife and I just have a long-term view of things, and we thought if we had children and if we were looking for a church, we would ask, if I had a first grader, I'd say, if I'm here for the next 12 years, what's the vision you have for my child? I mean, I'm just not going to join a church. I want to know what the vision is. And so that's just the way we think. And so from the very start, when we see young people, preschoolers, even first, second, third graders, we've already developed a vision of what we want to build into them. And so we partner with parents to help make that vision happen. I remember I was out at the playground one time, and there was a woman named Tammy who's a mom, and we were watching her little daughter on the playground, and she looked at me and she said, Gary, what is your vision for my daughter? And I was able to say, this is where I see your daughter. This is what I see your daughter doing. And so that's always been a part of what we do. And so I remember I came across a fifth grader one time, and her name was Amanda. And I just said, Amanda, what do you want to do when you grow up? And Amanda just simply said, I want to be a counselor at Camp Luther. I want to be a camp counselor at Camp Luther. And that made sense, because Amanda's family had been going to Camp Luther long before she was born. Her grandparents went. They had gone for decades. And so one week every summer, Camp Luther up on Lake Erie. And so I said, Amanda, well, here's the deal. Our job here at the church is to prepare you to be the best camp counselor that Camp Luther has ever seen. And her eyes just lit up. And I said, next time we meet, I want you to have a list for me of what a good camp counselor needs to be able to do. And so, she probably did it that night. And so the next time I saw Amanda, she had this list. I have to be able to do skits. I have to be able to do devotions. I have to be able to lead songs. I have to be able to do Bible studies. I have to be able to make campfires. I have to be able to make s'mores. She had this list that was like this long. And I said, Amanda, you're in fifth grade. We have 7 years. We are going to make sure you can excel at every one of those things in that list. And she was just like, ah. And so Amanda came, and she came to everything. She helped us with she was a little kid at the time, but she helped us with our little kids on Thursday night. She came to all of our trainings. Every time we were doing something, I said, Amanda, we have a story talk training. You need to come to the story talk training so you can be a good speaker at a campfire. And so she did all of that. By the time she was like 9th or 10th grade, every Thursday night she had a skit team. We gave her the 7th graders, and they would come up with a skit for the next Thursday night for our little kids club on Thursday night. And so the bottom line is, over the next 7 years, we built all those skills into Amanda, and she was very well skilled by the time she graduated from high school, and eventually worked at Camp Luther, and she worked for a couple of summers, and now she's a school teacher, and those same skills are helping her in what she's doing, in the public school system. So Amanda was probably the first place where we said, we need to start these things earlier. We were doing it with high schoolers, we were doing them with middle schoolers, and we gradually were going lower and lower age-wise with some of these things, realizing first graders can open with prayer and close with prayer and do table grace and whatever. So our list of 30 or 40 faith skills, at that point with Amanda, we began to realize we can do much, much earlier. And so now there's even a group of preschoolers, parents at our church, who I'm going to meet with, and we're going to talk about how to begin to incorporate these faith skills in their lives so their children can begin to learn these things even as preschoolers. And you can. Kids can do all this stuff. And so it's all about equipping. We're just equipping people with faith skills to, as we say, live out your personal calling in life. Amanda lived out her personal college-age calling in life, working at the Camp Luther, and so we were able to help her to do that. And that's what the church is here for. We're here to equip and to train, help her in her relationship with God, and then help her develop a ministry so she can go out and touch other people's lives for Christ.
Awesome.